There are two kinds of people, those who can see and those who are blind. Now, when the light comes, those who can see, those who have eyes, will see, and those who are blind will remain in the darkness. This is a paraphrase from a biblical quote from the Master, the Messiah. And it's a very important part of all our lives, especially the life of a magician, of a witch, of a shaman, of a creator, a co-creator. Because the reality is changing, the reality is teaching you, the reality is rendering. And if you can see, you will see those changes, those shifts, those improvements. But if you are blind, if you are in darkness, if you are ignorant, you won't see it, right? Just like when you're looking for something, you're more likely to find it. And when you refuse to believe in something, you'll never see it. And we can get very detailed, we can be very specific. It doesn't have to be about talking about spaceships or secret space programs. It can be about very simple things like looking at new ways to make money. If you don't open yourself up to that, you won't see that. Whereas people who are trained, they train themselves to look for more opportunities. They find them, they go after them, they chase after them. Right? Same thing with love. If you open yourself up to love, you see opportunities for a romance, a relationship. If you are blind and refuse to see or don't want to see, there's nothing there. So, and I just give you those examples to show that, we can go for the very mundane, daily living things, right? When you go shopping, I need something, you find it. When you go shopping and you don't know what you need, you don't find it. And we can go to the higher level. The higher level is left for the, the expert, the one, the pursuer, the seeker, the truth seeker. Because that takes a lot more skill, and you have to be very careful because you can go astray. Now that gets into the alternative field. When you go to the next level, you're getting into magic. You're getting into the technological reality. So you see those levels? There's the mundane level. Then there's this expert level, the alternative thinker. The awakened person is here. To get to the next stage, you're getting into magic. Magic is something you can't explain. You can't always scientifically validate. You can call it coincidence, synchronicity. You can call it epiphany, intuition, psychic ability. We get into all these things. Communicating with nature, interfacing with higher dimensions, interfacing with higher beings, fairies, stellans. Now you're getting into magic, understanding things, speaking to animals, speaking to plants. That is that esoteric part of magic. A lot of people wonder, am I a magician? Not me, you. Are you a magician? Are you a witch? And you notice there's no negative connotation. There's no satanic connotation. that exists. There are there are satanic groups, and there are dark magicians. I have been attacked by quite a few of them. I know they exist. But that's not real magic. That's distorted, dark magic. And that's going to be phased out anyway. What I'm talking about, shamanism, the medicine people. There are, when you go into magic, I'll just generalize and say magic, and I don't have to say shamanism, witchcraft. I don't have to say all that. Magic. When you go into that, you get different levels. You have people who are very skilled and powerful, and you get people who are in between, and you have people at the very basic stage of magic. They are, low-level magicians. They experiment with voices, speaking, commands, spells, not voices, spells. At the basic level of magic, you have things like burning incense, astral travel, dream recall. You have past life recall. You're getting magic. Magic to me is something, it cannot be scientifically explained, and yet it is tangible to the individual and sometimes to the group. It's a tangible thing. The higher you go, the larger the effect, and the less scientific possibility, the less scientific discussion is things like changing the weather. I have seen myself magicians, witches, change the weather in their local area. On a sunny day, I have seen a witch who, I will qualify this by saying, who may or may not have known she was a witch, or may not practice, or may be afraid. I have seen, in more than one occasion, that because of their mood, the weather changed right around them and their friends, and it was a sunny day became a stormy day. And then when the mood changed, the storms disappeared. I have seen it more than once. So that is something I can't prove scientifically. I cannot say, right, I cannot scientifically prove that it was that person. But as a magician myself, I can say that was the person who was responsible for that occurrence, that supernatural effect. There are a lot of these effects. Again, we can't quantify it, we can't explain it, but we know it exists. Whether it's, if you're picking up things like psychic ability, telepathy, ESP, that's the basics. Controlling the weather, interfacing with trees. Again, these are very high-level things, right? They're high-level things, are hard to prove, and people, they want proof. But I go back to my early quotation. When the light comes, those who can see will see, and those who are blind will remain in the darkness. Right? And that is what separates the awakened from the unawakened, or the refusing to awake, or the afraid of being awake, right? The awakened, the seeker. And that also separates the magician at a higher level. Now, I always have to go higher, the higher. There's a magician. Now we're getting into very fine, supernatural things. Intangible, inexplicable. Was that a coincidence? Was that a weather shift, or was that a person, right? That's right. So the magician, if you have a magical ability, whether it's dormant or active, whether it's developing or professional. Again, some magicians are very efficient, very powerful. They will never tell you how powerful they are, because that would defeat a lot of their magic. Because once you know the magic, then you can defend yourself. When I started talking about magic, I was attacked by the dark magicians, because you're not supposed to talk about magic, because you give away secrets, and then you empower other magicians. And I started to talk about the core concepts of magic. This is about 2011, 2012. So this is six years ago. And at the time, I had studied shamanism and magic myself. I didn't think I was proficient, although maybe I was. I could explain it, but they didn't like it. Magicians, so there's always been this suppression of magic. Again, intangible, inexplicable. You can't identify the people. They don't come out and say, right? We are stopping the magicians. They distort magic. They focus on Satanism, rituals, secret societies. That's not the stuff I'm talking about. I never learned that stuff. I don't like that stuff. I don't touch that stuff. So my teaching comes more from shamanism, interacting with nature, fairies, higher beings, frequencies, energies, other dimensions, other worlds. There are many teachers in other worlds, and they can teach you things if you can connect. And you can't fool these people. You can't fool the universe. You can't pretend you're genuine and sincere. That when you go to higher dimensions, it strips away all your illusions, and there are some very powerful beings, and they read you sharp and clear. Now, dark people, dark magicians will associate with dark beings and dark dimensions. Light beings will associate with light beings, light dimension, spirit, universe, God, nature, whatever you want to call it, the computer, the grand robot that runs the universe, the machine. So there is a distinction, and we are in short supply of the light, the magicians of light, the shamans, the witches of light. I have had people come up to me and says, I am a witch of light. What makes you a magician? How do you know you're a magician? Nobody's going to tell you. Even they tell you you're a magician, well, what does that mean? What are some of the indications that you have magical ability? How's that? What are some of the indications? And indications, evidence that we can understand, rather than me talking about controlling the weather. How do I know I can control the weather? So here are some ideas that prove that you have magical power. And it doesn't say how far you can go. We don't know. We don't know how high you can go. We don't even know if you want to go. And in many cases I have seen, there are many dormant. There are a magician whose magic is dormant. Dormant means it has not been activated, it has not been awakened. And the person is afraid. Sometimes the person is, as a spell, they can put spells to block your awakening, to distract you from looking at magic. It doesn't take much. instead of looking at it, making you afraid of magic because it's satanic, and you should focus on being a celebrity or something. You know, it's like, that's easier. Hey, that's a lot better. So it's very simple. It's not complicated. It's very simple to steer you away from magic, and then your magic is dormant. Now, so some people, so you look at this, see this thing here? Look. That's magical ability. Colors, visual imagination. Painting. Painting, if you can paint, you have magical ability. Right? Painting is creation. Is that creation? Creation is tapping into the magic of the universe, the frequencies of creation. Not everybody can paint. Creation. What else is there? Or we look at the arts. Writing. Writing. The word is a spell, right? It's like a spell, a spelling. ABC. Spelling. So a good speller, a writer, is tapping into magic. They are a low-level magician. Again, they may never go higher. They may just remain at that level. But to be a good writer, you're tapping into other dimensions of knowledge, ideas, crazy stories. Where do they come from? Where do stories come from? You're channeling stories. You're downloading stories. Writer, magic. Do you like writing? Do you like painting? How about music? Did you learn music once and you were good at music and you liked music, and for whatever reason you stopped being a musician? Or now you're a professional musician. You're on a stage. That's magic. Anybody with music is magical. Now, some are very good. Some whose voice, when they sing, it moves people. Magician. Witch. That's a witch. Right? So you have all of these arts, all of the arts. You get into the arts, dancing, acting. Acting is a form of magic. Acting, impersonation, pretending. And a good actor is a good magician, right? A magician is deception, right? Illusions, deceptions, education. Actor, what does an actor want to do? Actor wants to move an audience. I want to get you to feel something. I want you to believe this story. Because I believe in this story. I believe in this character. That's magic, right? You're tapping into those energies, the passion. You're starting to be a magician. Those are the basic, if you're in any arts, you're a basic level magician. Then you get higher, you go to the next level. You're getting into things like burning incense. Maybe you do some spell casting. Maybe you're reading tarot cards. Again, tarot cards are speaking to you from other dimensions, other parts of yourself. Your higher self, your spirit guides are giving you information. They're speaking to you through these symbolic cards, tarot cards. Tarot cards is like a basic tool to develop your magical ability. If you want to start, learn tarot cards. Again, everybody has their own approach. I mean, some people will play with tarot cards once every 6 months. Some people will play with tarot cards once every 6 weeks. Some people will play with tarot cards once every 6 hours. Some people will do a little painting. Some people will do oil painting. Some people will do a landscape. Different levels, right? Different focus, different training. Some people will write a book. Some people will write a novel. Some people will write a TV series. Film. Film is magic. Film is mad. Writing a story that we can create a holographic image and capture it and show everybody and move everybody. That's magic. Now the magician traditionally, the magician was there to balance the world. So that when the dark magic was too much, when the manipulation and control was too much, the magician of light would create something to balance that. When a dark spell was cast, the magician would cast a spell to balance that. It could be a song. A song, if people are in a certain state of apathy or fear, the magician writes a song that will inspire people and make them feel good. And they will sing it, and it will move people. It will become a big song. Now, what you're seeing now, music today, if you look at the top of the charts, it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise, and it's a lot of, it's just a lot of rambling. I mean, the musicians are good and it's professionally done, but there's a lot of repetition and rambling. There's no enlightenment. There's no movement. There's no emotion. And a lot of times there's anger. A lot of times there's, political motivations. So we've lost some of that magic. And I think it's because the magicians of light are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or they too are being sucked into this commercialized music, which is not the real music. The real music, if you want to go to the real music, is basically folk music. Folk music is like, it comes from nature, it comes from the soul. But it doesn't make a lot of money. So eventually you say, if you want to make money, you have to sell out, right? And then you're making this noise. So music, let's just take music for example. The magicians, music enlightens and it wakes up people and makes them feel good and opens up your life, what you want to be. And now you listen to this noise, and it's just about, there's nowhere to go. I just want to feel good. And people are taking drugs, right? Because we're closing down our access to that stuff. Our novels are not exploring the fantasies, the other realities, the possibilities. No, because everything has to make sense. It has to be scientifically proven. That's not magic. Magic doesn't care about scientifically proven. Magic doesn't care about is this plausible. Magic is a story. The story is a story, right? The guy flew on a horse. There are no flying horses, but the magician doesn't care. There is a flying horse. There's a flying car. Chitty chitty bang bang. The car flies. That's magic. That is a magical movie. Today, they have cars, jumping over bridges, and they're not flying, but they're jumping like they're flying. But they can't fly. Because the creators they're too afraid to make it fly because it's not believable. That car can't fly. Because we've lost that magic in movies and music. We've lost that magic. Because our magician is dormant. Our magician is controlled by commerce. I need to make money. My record label, they want this. And that's what I have to make. I have a contract. I gotta make noise. They want more noise. They want better sounding noise, right? They want more romantic noise. It's all noise. One day pretty soon the top 40 is just gonna be every song is people yelling. Hey! That's just noise. It's just you're gonna put it on, it's gonna be like a hey! Hey! That's every song. Because there's no music left. It's just like, and by then we're all on drugs. We're all depressed. and we're all, you know, doing terrible things to each other, right? So, you know, if you are a magician, you know, you need to open yourself up, explore stuff. Yeah, why don't we make a movie that car can fly? I came up with an idea, make a Ford Mustang for a Superman sequel. Superman is it? Look, I'll give you an example of a movie and how the magic is gone. Okay, Superman, he's superhuman, he's indestructible, he can fly, he's super intelligent, right? He's super intelligent, but he doesn't create anything. Batman is not a genius and he's not super intelligent. Batman, he's industrious. That's what he is. He's got money and he's got the willpower and the discipline to make all these crazy outfits. So he's got money and he can do what he wants. He's spoiled, right? He's very crafty. He's disciplined. He's industrious. He wants to, you know, he can get it done. Superman is a super intelligent alien. He doesn't create anything. He has never invented anything, right? He wears the same color suit. Why didn't he create new suits? In the new incarnation of Man of Steel, his family, his father was a scientist, and Superman is an idiot. He doesn't create anything. His father made a spaceship. Superman has never made a spaceship. He's never even thought of making a space. He's out there being a journalist, which worked in the 50s. But today, you know, he could do something else. He could be an engineer. He could be like an Elon Musk. He could start a space agency. Superman starts a space agency so he can fly to Mars. No, they don't have any of that. He's an idiot. The incarnate, he's a moron. All I can do is fly and block bullets and catch robbers and fight against Lex Luthor. Come on, man, you're super intelligent. So I said, you know, build a Ford Mustang that can fly to other planets. And do one better than Wonder Woman. You know, Wonder Woman has an invisible plane. You make an invisible Ford Mustang. And you drive around in your invisible Ford. You don't have to fly. You drive your Mustang. Right? And it's invisible. You can go wherever you want. Why not? He's super intelligent. But no, the makers of the creators, it's against, you know, they'll say it's against the canon and he would never do that. Because he's a moron. Superman is a super moron. Because he doesn't use any, he doesn't engineer. He could find a cure for cancer. Superman, the scientist, right? His father was a scientist. But he's an idiot. I'm a journalist. I hide among you. No, become a scientist. Invent a cure for cancer. Superman gets a cure for cancer. He finds a cure for diabetes, right? Superman, right? Autism. I got a cure for autism. That's what he should be doing. What are you doing, Superman? Oh, I'm taking some pictures for the paper. What's wrong with this picture, right? So this is why we've lost the magic. We've lost the magic. The music is noise. The movie characters are morons. He's dumber than Batman. Batman is smarter than Superman. You want to make him interesting, make him a scientist. I want to be like my father. He's a scientist. I don't want to just fly around. I'm tired of flying around. I'm bored. And he never says it. You know, I'm bored of flying around this freaking planet. I'm gonna build a Ford Mustang, and I'm gonna show you Wonder Woman. I'm gonna make it invisible. You see what I mean? That's magic. I'm tapping into my magic. The people behind the Man of Steel, they're not tapping into, they're tapping into noise, and they're not playing the character right. The character needs to evolve. We need to unleash Superman. Superman unleashed. Superman scientist. So that's, that's magic. You see what I mean? See what's happened? I've taken this clogged up idea, this worn out idea, this moron that's indestructible, an indestructible moron. That's what he is. He's indestructible, he's a moron. He has no intelligence. I mean, Batman is more intelligent. And I've turned him into something else. He's a super scientist. He could build a spaceship. He could be flying to other planets. And he could be talking to Captain Marvel. He could be talking to other, he could be to the Guardians of the Galaxy, which would be a different universe, but he could be welcoming people, right? They don't do that. They can do that for all the characters. So when you look at film, you look at movies, you look at painting. Picasso, when Picasso was painting, if you've seen Picasso, it looks like somebody, an 8-year-old painted the Picasso painting. But he was tapping into his magic. He didn't care what you thought. This is my view of a woman. And it looks like an 8-year-old painted it. And now it's Picasso. Picasso is a genius. He's a genius because he's a magician. Picasso was a magician. He tapped into that power. He didn't listen to people. And now his paintings sell $100 million. And the painter who paints a beautiful landscape, their painting is worth $1,000. That's magic. So we're not even getting into astral travel. We're not getting into other dimensions. We're not getting into spells and talking to nature and talking to trees. Can you communicate with trees? Again, I go back to my quote. When the light comes, those who can see will see, and those who are blind will remain in darkness. So if I say to you, you can commune with a tree, if you are blind to that idea, you will never see it happen. But if you can see, if you have eyes, you may one day commune with a tree. You may commune with something and then realize it was a tree or an animal. It could be an animal, an insect, a bird. So the idea, right? When you're open to the idea, which you have to be as a magician. Just what I did with the Superman thing is I said, why not? He's a super intelligent person. His father was a scientist. Why not make him a scientist? Superman is a scientist. Clark Kent, scientist. Why doesn't he start a space agency? What's preventing him? What's preventing him is the owners of the brand. And that's something I cannot fix because there's all of this licensing and copyrights. But the character is, it's not going to go anywhere as a moron. And I mean that with all respect. He's a great character, but he's really dumb. So, you see, once you open yourself up to the possibility, and it doesn't mean all your ideas are going to go. It means that you're opening yourself up. And then you start to make sense of the idea. You need to open it up. The magician, you need to you need to think about, can I control the weather? You need to go out there and practice, right? Astral travel. You need to practice. You need to look into it. Meditation. Healing. Let's say you have an illness. Can you do healing, right? Can you do healing? That's magic too. Healing, herbs, essences, flowers, aromas, foods. Can they heal your injury? Let's say you have a very bad illness. Let's say you have an incurable illness. Well, then you really need to open yourself up and explore. That doesn't mean you disregard what your doctor says. It means like, I need to open up my regenerative ability. I need to, it's not the end. This ain't gonna end. This ain't gonna end. I'm gonna tap into my healing ability. I'm going to ask for healing. I'm going to do something. And you give it the time. It takes the time. It may take a month, a year, 10 years. The magic takes time. And it's connected to your emotions, it's connected to your life, it's connected to your psychology. It takes time to develop. You're not going to be able to do the high level stuff until you get the low level stuff. So if you've been doing arts for a number of years, now you're getting into crystals and aromas and astral travel and past life recall, past life regression, because you're trying to get that started. And you'll do that for a while until you can get to the next level. A lot of the things in reality, if we can cover a bit of reality, reality is protected. Knowledge is protected. From my experience, of course, knowledge is protected. If you're not ready for something, you won't be able to do it because it will be dangerous. It could be bad for you. It could harm you. I remember when I was in my 20s, early 20s, I went to Mexico with a friend of mine, and we met some people there, and we were deciding where to go. This is, I think, around Cancun, Mexico. This is quite a few years ago. I mean, this is my early 20s. I was there, and we were deciding let's go on a day trip. And it came down to a choice between Chichen Itza, which is like a Mayan pyramid, and what's it called? La Isla de Mujer, the Mother Island. The Mother Island, a woman, La Isla de Mujer. There was an island, and it had some kind of myth and legend. Again, that was a time where I had no concept. I wasn't paying attention. I had a very strong intuition. But I immediately thought, let's go to Chichen Itza. I wanted to go, there's a bunch of us, so we were going to split up. I said, I was thinking of going to Chichen Itza. And something inside of me says, it's not a good idea to go to Chichen Itza. It was very clear. It was a very clear, whether it was a spirit guide or whether it was, part of me says, it's not good to go to Chichen Itza. And it was, to me, it was a measurable thing. I felt it. Okay, I better not go to Chichen Itza. I'll go to the island of the women's island, or I think it was La Isla de Mujer. And it was there's a mythology, there's an energy to that island, right? And you had to take a boat. And some of our friends went to Chichen Itza. Now, I didn't know, at the time, the Chichen Itza and the Mayans and the magic and the energy, star being, all that stuff. I didn't know any of that. And had I gone, it would have been premature. I think it was premature for me to go there. And I might have woke up too early, right? Because other parts of me had not developed. And to go to the island was a much more emotional, it was a heart-centered trip for me. It was a very heart-centered trip. Had to do a lot with love. And that was much better. And maybe I didn't have a grasp of love and heart opening. And had I gone, I'm just speculating, had I gone to Chichen Itza and my love energy, my heart energy is not functioning at the right level of understanding, that may have caused a problem, or it may have prematurely led to something else. I will never know, but I do know it was a good idea that I went to the other place. And I think I was better for it. It led my life in a new direction, a lot more love-centered direction. And that was very beneficial for me. But, intellectually, I would have gone to Chichen Itza, but it wasn't time. So sometimes knowledge is blocked, and sometimes you are, you are shown the path. You're shown to music, and music will lead you to something else. You're shown to writing, and writing leads to something else. And other times you're literally like, you're kind of said, don't go there, go here. And for me, it was much better. And there's many occurrences of this. So I also believe that that you can only go where you're ready to go. You can't fool the system. If you're not ready, it won't be there. You can't force it open. You need to do all your prep work. You need to I've spent many years now, and lately I've been tapping into, very more esoteric things. I'm still learning esoteric things. I'm still learning basic things. And along the way, I'm still developing myself. So as a magician, you may learn something, a skill, you may come to realize, you may awaken a power, but you still need to develop yourself as a human. How you love, your control of your emotions, your anger, your resentment, your fears, your past problems with your past, your traumas, even past life traumas, and past life blocks, and past life lessons, right? So you're dealing with deeper and deeper stuff of yourself, and then you can go forward, and then you have to develop yourself, and then you can go forward. You can't just go out there. That's why I even look at, let's say, musician will come up with an album, and it's a great album, and then they'll do another album, it's a great album, and then the next one takes about 3-4 years. Now they're kind of like, they're trying to push out rather than developing themselves. You need to go inside and to heal yourself and to bring out yourself, and then the album will come out, right? You can't, that's the way it goes. I think it's anything in life. You need to, you can expand, you can grow, but then you need to develop yourself. And we call that depression. We call that midlife crisis. Because I used to produce so much, and now I can't do it. No, you need to focus. Forget about what you're doing. Focus on yourself. Understand yourself. Deal with your traumas, your past, your addictions, your relationships, your marriage, your ex-marriage, your kids, all that stuff you need to deal with. And that may take a bunch of years, and then you can go to the next level. You can't go to the next level until you get these things under control, right? Magic is not all powerful, and it's connected to you as a person. And the universe, reality also says, you're not ready for this, and it won't let you go there. And you're ready for that. And it may push you. It may push you into different things, right? All of a sudden, you bought all these crystals. What am I going to do with all these crystals? I spent all this money. So, I think many of us are magicians or witch. Maybe you were a witch in the past life, and you were traumatized, and you're afraid to come out as a witch. You're afraid of your magic because they burned you, right? Maybe you have to heal that. And by healing that, you will become the witch.